Mengumumkan ketibaan yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik dan Antarabangsa Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia. Nyanyian lagu bangsa Johor dan Negaraku. Hadirin dijemput duduk. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Pertama sekali, majlis ingin mengalu-alukan kehadiran yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik dan Antarabangsa Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia, yang berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ruzairi bin Abdul Rahim, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi, selaku pemidato syarahan perdana siri kedua tahun 2018. Yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Asri bin Slamat, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Hal Ehwal Pelajar dan Alumni, pegawai-pegawai kanan Universiti, div-div jemputan dari Universiti Awam, institusi pengajian tinggi dan industri, pegawai-pegawai universiti dan semua ahli akademia serta hadirin yang sudi hadir memeriahkan majlis syarahan perdana 2018. Majlis kita pada pagi ini akan dimulai dengan bacaan doa. Maka dengan segala hormatnya, majlis ingin mempersilakan Ustaz Muhammad Lutfi bin Solihan untuk memimpin bacaan doa. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin al-Fatihi lima ughliqa wal khatim lima sabaqa wan nasiril haqqi bil haqqi wal hadi ila siratim mustaqim wa ala alihi wa sahbihi haqqa qadrihi wa miqdaril azim. Dengan mengucapkan puji dan syukur kehadrat-Mu ya Allah, di atas segala rahmat dan kurniaan-Mu yang telah Engkau limpahkan kepada kami, pada seluruh warga UTHM khususnya dan kepada umat Islam amnya. Sesungguhnya kami mendadah tangan menzahirkan rasa kesyukuran di atas iradat dan kudrat-Mu yang telah menentukan dan mengizinkan kami untuk berhimpun pada pagi yang berbahagia ini dalam syarahan perdana siri kedua 2018 yang akan disampaikan oleh Yang Berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ruzairi bin Abdul Rahim, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi. Ya Allah, Ya Muzil Rahmah, Ya Fatihal Barakah, berkatilah dan permudahkan perjalanan majlis kami pada pagi ini. Jadikanlah ianya seumpama sebuah taman di antara taman-taman syurga. Berilah peluang kepada kami untuk bertukar idea, ilmu dan pandangan dalam mewujudkan budaya perkongsian ilmu yang menyumbang ke arah pembentukan kesatuan fikrah, dan jadikanlah majlis ini sebagai pencetus inovasi, isu-isu dan pencabaran ke arah kelestarian pembelajaran penyelidikan. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaimin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, Kau terangilah hati kami dengan cahaya petunjuk-Mu. Bukakanlah kepada kami pintu hikmah-hikmah-Mu dan limpahkanlah ke atas kami daripada hazanah-hazanah rahmat-Mu. Ya Allah, Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, jadikanlah kami, Ya Allah, dalam kalangan hamba-hamba yang beriman dan bertakwa. Jauhkanlah kami daripada melanggari perintah-perintah-Mu. Ya Allah, Ya Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kepada kami kekayaan ilmu pengetahuan dan hiasilah kami dengan sifat mahmudah dan hindarilah kami dari sifat-sifat mazmumah. Muliakanlah kami dengan pandangan rahmat-Mu dan anugerahkan kepada kami dengan keredaan-Mu, serta kurniakanlah kepada kami segala kebaikan di dunia dan di akhirat. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Allahumma ij'al jam'ana hadza jam'an marhuma wa tafarraqana min ba'di tafarraqan ma'suma wa la taj'al fina wa la ma'ana wa la ma yatba'una shaqiyya wa la matruda wa la mahruma. Wa hab lana muslimina limuqassirina li amalina wa hab lana bi wajhil karim wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Ustaz Muhammad Lufi Solihan di atas bacaan doa itu tadi. Semoga majlis ini diberkati dan mendapat manfaat bersama. Hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, sukacita dimaklumkan bahawa program syarahan perdana kali ini merupakan hasil kerjasama dan anjuran bersama pejabat Chancellery dan juga Fakulti Kejuruteraan Elektrik dan Elektronik UTHM. Seterusnya, majlis dengan sukacitanya menjemput Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik dan Antarabangsa, untuk memperkenalkan pemidato bagi siri kedua syarahan perdana 2018. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ruzairi bin Abdul Rahim, Yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Asri bin Selamat, Yang berbahagia dekan-dekan, pegawai-pegawai kanan, wakil-wakil dari Universiti Awam, institusi pengajian tinggi dan industri, pegawai-pegawai universiti dan seterusnya, pada para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian. Izinkan saya membaca biodata pemidato kita pada pagi ini. Ruzairi Abdul Rahim graduated with honors degree in Electronic Engineering and Control Engineering from Sheffield City Polytechnic, United Kingdom in 1992. In 1996, he received the PhD degree from Sheffield Hallam University for the thesis titled A Tomography Imaging System for Pneumatic Conveyor Using Optical Fibers. He begins his career as a tutor at the Department of Control and Instrumentation Engineering in the Faculty of Electrical Engineering, University Technology, Malaysia in 1992. He was made Associate Professor at UTM in 1999 and Professor in 2006. He was appointed as the Head of Department in 1st June 1998 for 8 years. In 2006, he was appointed as a Deputy Dean Corporate at the Research Management Center UTM for about 3 years before appointed as the director at the Research Management Center in 2009. Now, Professor T.S. Dr. Ruzairi has been appointed as Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation at the University Tun Usain On, Malaysia. He has written more than 17 original books, published more than 290 papers in refereed journals, produced more than 124 conference papers, as well as numerous others writing, including chapters in books article, in popular publication, manuscript and technical report. Professor T.S. Dr. Ruzairi has been awarded a Professional Technologist, TS, by the Malaysia Boards of Technology, or MBOT, in 2018. He has received more than 35 academic and research awards, including Top Researcher Scientist Malaysia in 2013, awarded by Academic Science Malaysia. That is the brief biodata of Dr. Ruzairi. Sekian. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman. Dan seterusnya, tanpa ingin melengahkan masa majlis, dengan segala hormatnya ingin menjemput Yang Berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ruzairi bin Abdul Rahim untuk berkongsi ilmu dalam Majlis Syarahan Perdana 2018. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. So, terima kasih penerusi majlis. So, Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademi dan Antarabangsa UTHM, Wakil Rasmi Naib Chancellor, Yang Berbahagia Profesor Mahdia Dr. Asri bin Selamat, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Aiwa Pelajar dan Alumni UTHM, Yang Berusaha Dr. Rosli bin Umar, Dekan Fakulti Kejuruteraan Elektrik dan Elektronik UTHM, Pegawai-pegawai kanan Universiti, wakil-wakil daripada Universiti Awam, Institusi Pengajian Tinggi dan Industri, pegawai-pegawai universiti dan seterusnya para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian. So, terima kasih pada semua yang dapat hadir pada pagi ini. It's just the sharing session daripada saya. So, tak payahlah formal-formal, saya ingat santai pun boleh. Okay. Terlebih dahulu saya ucap terima kasih kepada rakan-rakan lama saya lah. Kalau nampak dia pakai sondok hitam tu, Cik Ahmad Basri daripada Uni KL. So dia tak nak bangun Cik Ahmad Basri. So Cik Ahmad Basri ni dulu dia penyelia saya semasa saya buat industri training di SGS Thomson Microelectronics. MUA dululah 6 bulan di SGS dan 6 bulan di UK. Dan juga ex-student saya buat master, Dr. Razif Muhammad Zain, tak depan ni. Dia sekarang ni penarah Research Management Center, agensi nuklear Malaysia. So most of the application of process tomography Razif implement lah semasa dia di nuklear Malaysia. Dan juga ada berapa lagi ex-student saya yang saya tak sebut nama lah. Okay, pagi ni saya just share apa yang what I did in past 25 or 30 years on research and on other activities. So the title is Emerging Research on Process Tomography. Okay, so maybe tomography is just not popular in Malaysia or in UTHM, but with this some sharing, maybe you can know better about the process tomography. So in this presentation, there is about 7 videos, but I've been told that only 5 videos can be played here. Okay, so we can see the video and then we can share the knowledge on the process tomography. Engineering, after my first degree, direct to PhD. So I'm doing PhD in Sheffield Hallam University, electronic instrumentation. My PhD is specific on flow measurement on process tomography. This one we call is electrical capacitance tomography, ECT. Okay, tomography means slice. Means that if you have the pipeline, you want to see inside the pipeline, you didn't cut the pipeline. You can see, like you can see what happening using the sensor. Okay, this one is electrical capacitor sensor. So the principle is on the permeability of the liquid. So in this system, if there's a mix between water and oil, so the system can quantify what is the percentage of water and percentage of oil. Usually in the palm oil industry, for example, at the end of the process, they will take the oil and just throw away the water. But sometimes what they throw away in the water, flush away, there's the oil. So if we can recycle again, then we can make a lot of money from the waste. Then you can say the blue one is the oil and the red color is the water. So we are using the capacitance sensor. Okay, we know that a capacitor sensor is on the principle of permeability. Okay, then our signal conditioning, we design ourselves the signal conditioning. The hardware is from Malaysia and we reconstruct the software also from Malaysia. So 100% of the technology is from Malaysia. Let's say they want to use it. If anything happen to this system, we can repair ourselves. No need to just call US, we have problem and so on. There is a lot of research on the electrical capacitor tomography. Our technique is our electrodes and the signal conditioning is in the same plane. So you can see this is the signal conditioning and at the back is the sensor, the electrode. That is the idea. The target is industry mainly on the palm oil. We try to help our palm oil industry. That is our idea. That's why recently we go to one of the factory in Selangor to see what is the real problem. Okay, they say there's problem with bog, for example, the mixture of oil and water. So we try to develop one. Okay, we show that the system capable to measure oil and water. So, but the system is still on prototype, lab prototype. Okay, we are collaboration with Nuclear Malaysia now. So Nuclear Malaysia will test on the full scale. Full scale, what is the temperature dependent, what is the humidity. Then after that, if we see is perfect, then we can go. Okay, that's video taken by one of the patent agents. So you can see the video on YouTube. Okay, that exhibition held in UTM. Masa saya muda-muda dululah, kalau kita tak pun muda lagi masa tu. Okay, so that is about electrical capacitance tomography. That roughly what my research is. Just want to highlight how I get idea for that one. Okay, to build the ECT, electrical capacitance tomography. The idea came when I participate in Malaysian Technology Expo in 2002 or 2001. Then one of the industry approached us. I bring the different system in the exhibition, and the industry approached us and said that he has problem, blah blah blah. So he said he has a lot of palm oil that he flush away in the river. How can he know that the flush away is 100% water? So we build the system. From that idea, we build the ECT, electrical capacitance tomography. I will tell you more about ECT later. But for your idea, the ECT is similar to blood pressure. Kalau you pergi doktor, you measure blood pressure kan dekat tangan, you boleh buka dan boleh balut. That ECT also same. It's a mobile ECT. It can plug and unplug. Okay. So we will discuss later. So this is the system. Okay. So you can see this is the real system and this is the real image. Okay. So in my research, I did two, hardware and also the software. So if you want to do research with me, so it should be hardware and software. I like to see the hardware. So we build the hardware ourselves, we design the signal conditioning and so on. So maybe you also can ask Razif or you can ask my ex-student, Helmi is there. Okay, so my ex-student, so hardware and software is the must in my supervision. Okay, just contents of my talk is about first is biography, process tomography, knowledge transfer, type of tomography, sensor and also knowledge transfer. Okay, maybe you have to remind me the time bila dah pegang mic ni dia akan lama lah. Okay, just short on biography. So originally I'm from University Technology Malaysia, faculty kejuruteraan elektrik. Now it's a school of electrical engineering. So I'm most of my time there as in the research management center, RMC, okay, from 2006 and 2016, about 10 years in RMC, okay. Prof Hussein dia tahulah kalau dia gaduh selalu pasal vote dia, dia datang jumpa saya lah, okay. Okay, I bring this picture. Kalau saya pergi mana-mana pun talk, saya akan bawa gambar yang sama, okay. Sebab saya most of my times ini dinding saya dan saya duduk depan my table is in front of this wall, di mana wall tu ada sijil saya. Okay, so like Prof Ismail said, I have about 35 awards, research awards and also academic awards. Okay, so saya suka lihat sijil saya dan saya suka lihat saya punya medal yang pernah dapat lah. Okay, so yang paling saya proud sekali yang ni lah, yang macam gold ni. Yang gold ni ada kat bilik saya sekarang. That is best of the best from Geneva 2004. Okay, that is best of the best of Geneva. Nanti saya akan ceritakan. Okay, but I cannot bring all the sijil, all the certificate here because in my room all the wall is cement lah. So saya tak boleh tampal. Kecuali station nak tukar dinding saya sebagai softboard, okey lah saya boleh letak. So kalau ada peruntukan letak softboard, so saya boleh tampal semua sijil saya lah. Okay. So bila orang datang saya akan tunjuk all my sijil lah, all my certificates. Okay, 2016 till now, till to 2019, so saya appoint as a Timbalan Chancellor Penyelidikan Inovasi Institut Usaha Malaysia. So today is 21 months I've been here. I have another 15 months to go. So my contract here is 36 months. So saya ada lagi 15 bulan. So I'm counting the month because I have the KPI. So the KPI given by KPT sebelum ni, dan KPM, so I have to fulfill the KPI. So I have to count months. Ada orang kata dia kira bulan sebab dia nak balik, terpulanglah. Sekarang ni Scopus ID saya pun balik-balik sejak dia pergi UTM, sejak dia masuk UTHM, dia pun menunjukkan dia suruh balik. Okay, tak apalah, itu library akan buatlah Scopus ID. Okay, I have awarded a top research scientist Malaysia 2013 by Academy Science Malaysia. So this before my H index now is 20. Okay, so this is the award that I have been awarded by UTM and at the national level also. Saya pernah menang Toko Penyelidikan, Toko Penerbitan, Toko Harta Intelek, 3 anugerah kualiti UTM yang mana saya bawa RMC menang anugerah kualiti UTM, juga menang anugerah inovasi UTM, dan saya juga bawa Radis UTM untuk menang anugerah mampu di peringkat kebangsaan. Okay. So everybody might be everybody knows about Radis, okay, or researcher know about Radis. That Radis we implement or we buat that Radis is using our own staff. Okay, kita tak beli Radis tersebut, kita buat daripada scratch. Kita interview pelajar UITM satu rumah di Shah Alam dan kita ambil semua pelajar tersebut bawa ke UTM. Dan that pelajar buat Radis daripada dia bujang sampailah dia ada beranak pinak sekarang ni lah. So that is we build the Radis. Okay. So my early qualifications, my bachelor is in 1992, Sheffield City Polytechnic, Electronic System and Control Engineering. Then I did my PhD in Sheffield Hallam University. Actually Sheffield City Polytechnic upgraded to university that we call Sheffield Hallam University. Prof. Asri tanya saya tadi dia ada main basketball ke sebab nama Hallam. So saya tak sure lah yang tu. Okay. Saya punya PhD Electronic Instrumentation Engineering. So saya antara spesies yang tak ada master from my first degree terus PhD lah. Okay, so area of my expertise is process tomography, optical sensor, ultrasonic sensor, and application of sensor technologies. My own IP, I have patent granted 7, patent pending 55. UI 2 product, copyright 153, integrated circuit 7, industrial design 1 product. This is my IP, IPR. I do IPR because during my time in RMC, I'm responsible for IP UTM. Okay, my KPI on that time, Datuk Sri Zaini is a Timbalan Chancellor Penyelidikan Inovasi UTM. So my KPI is to build the ecosystem IPR for UTM before Datuk Zaini been NC. Okay, this is some of my projects. Okay, just for you to see. I want to highlight only this one. Okay, vehicle security system via SMS or VSS. This product win Best of the Best Geneva 2005. Okay, it's a very simple project. Saya nak cerita, I want to tell you because how to get the idea. How to get the idea for research. In 2002 or 2003, benda ni tak popular, but now it's very popular lah. China dah banyak produk, dah banyak dah. So how I get this idea? Idea dia datang daripada budak-budak lah, daripada pelajar-pelajar sekolah, daripada students. When I went to Giant Tertesto, saya tak ingat. Okay. So adalah budak-budak main, play around. Then one of the car, dia punya alarm activate. Then budak tu cakap sama dia orang. Indro tengok kereta dia bunyi lah, tak ada orang datang. Lepas tu seorang lagi cakap, kenapa kereta ni tak beritahu tuan dia berbunyi? Logik tak budak tu cakap? Kenapa kereta tu tak beritahu tuan dia berbunyi? So bila saya balik rumah, benda tu saya rasa that is the project. Kenapa kereta tu tak beritahu tuan dia? So if you can build something, device, when the alarm been triggered by the car, it will send signal to the owner. So my idea is send SMS to the owner. Okay, when it's triggered, it send SMS. So owner tahu kereta dia berbunyi. That is the rough idea of that project. Moral is when you need the idea to do research, tak payahlah malam-malam tengok bulan, tengok bintang. So you just pergi around, see around, budak-budak sekolah punya idea pun you boleh implement. So when I went to Geneva on that time, my VC is Tan Sri Zul masa tu. You want me to bring 3 products. I don't want to go to Geneva because saya dah pergi banyak kali masa tu. You want me to go bring 3 products. This product, and this product on ECT, another one, ECT. Okay, 3 products. In Geneva, they are given us 3x3 booths. Satu booth boleh masuk satu sahaja. So saya kena jaga 3, tak boleh bawa pembantu. So when I went there, saya malu nak duduk sini. Saya duduk sini, and saya duduk yang ECT tadi. Okay? Yang ni. Okay? Sebab dia nampak complicated lah, nampak gah. Tapi semua orang datang kat sini. Semua nak tengok produk ni. Orang tua-tua pun datang nak tengok produk tu. So because you say simple, I can understand the applications. In fact, masa dia nak award the best of the best, pukul 6 petang hari terakhir, 6 juri datang, semua tak boleh cakap bahasa Inggeris, semua cakap France. Tapi dia ada translator lah. So dia suruh saya explain balik. Masa tu saya dah tahu dah, saya akan win something lah sebab special juri datang. Okay. So moral kat sini, the idea can be dapat daripada tempat-tempat yang mudah lah. It's not just complicated. Okay, so that is moral of these products. So you lihat budak-budak, lihat sekeliling, dan you boleh buat products. Okay, my early education, so dia akan habis kat biografi je lah kan, 1 jam. But early education, yes, sekolah Ismail 1 Muar. So siapa yang ada kat Muar, dia bukan Muar, dia Muar. Kalau Ismail pun tahulah, dia tak panggil Muar. Okay. So sekolah tinggi Muar, tingkat 1 sampai 5, sekolah utama Parit Kadi Muar, darjah 1 hingga 6, sekolah menengah Sains Johor Keluang A-level, dan NCUK, Northern Consortium United Kingdom, NCUK. Okay, that is my early education. Walaupun saya dilahirkan di Sungai Petani Kedah, tapi all my life is in Johor lah. Okay, in Muar, tak Muar. Okay. Okay, so di lahir seorang petani, besarkan di Muar. Qualification macam tadi saya beritahu, my PhD in Electronic Instrumentations. This my thesis titles. This is the electronic my first degree. Okay, ini ada satu cerita lagi lah untuk sharing. Mungkin some of you tahu cerita ni, saya dah share banyak kali. Saya punya degree dekat Sheffield City Polytechnic is terms, is bukan semester. Terms ni you study 1 year exam. After exam, if you fail, you can repeat in 2 weeks. If you repeat, you lulus, then you can award lah, dapat ijazah. Jadi bila when my time when I finish my final year, so my tiket untuk balik itu about 1 month after the result keluar. So after the result keluar, alhamdulillah saya okay. So saya ada 1 bulan nak pergi mana 1 bulan tu. Okay, so nak berjalan dah puas jalan, duit pun dah tak ada. Okay, so 1 month tu saya jadi volunteer dekat lab. Every day I went to the lab, instrumentation lab. Okay, saya dah tak ingat technician tu punya nama. So saya tolong dia lap meja, susun equipment, baca manual. If in UK, the manual of the equipment is tied with the equipment, diikat dengan equipment, kita boleh baca, tak hilang. Kalau kat sini kita tie equipment, besok equipment manual tu akan hilang. Okay, sampai sana tak hilang. Yeah. Dan saya berjalan, every day saya dekat Sheffield City Polytechnic. One day, one of the researcher call me. Dia nampak saya, dia panggil. Dia panggil Ruzairi lah nama. Tu is a Ferry Gazoloy daripada Iran, from Iran. So dia ajar saya optic communication. So dia panggil saya, dia beritahu saya, oh your result is very good, later blah blah blah. Then he said, you can proceed to do PhD with me later. No need to do master later, just proceed to do PhD. Kalau you cakap apa? Nah, tapi saya jawab apa? what is PhD? Saya tak tahu pun PhD itu apa. That the same yang saya rasa student kita juga macam tu. Dia pun tak tahu after degree nak buat apa. That's why my research group akan tangkap pelajar-pelajar tahun akhir sebelum mereka exam, apa yang saya lakukan di tempat lama saya. Kita akan ambil, kalau saya SEI, Produsen tahulah apa itu SEI. So about 40 people, we lecture, we give some short briefing about our project with the final year student and say we have this project, we have the money, we can appoint you as a master student, blah blah blah. So bermakna student tu tahu, okay? Bermakna student tu apa nak buat. So baca saya lah, saya tak tahu what is PhD. So dia terang-terangkan baru saya tahu. That I did my PhD, tapi saya tak buat dengan dia sebab saya tak suka dia kan. So saya buat dengan orang lain. Tadi Jazullah tu selalu datang Malaysia, selalu contact saya. In fact, last week saya kat UK pun dia contact saya. Ada sebab lah, sebab saya tak nak buat tak dia. So saya buat dengan orang lain lah. Saya buat dengan Bob Green. Nanti kita tengok Profesor Bob Green. Okay, working experience saya, I did my industrial training 8 months in UK, then 6 months in SGS Thomson. So SGS Thomson ni lah saya kenal Cik Ahmad Basri lah. Okay, masa dia jadi penyelia saya di division IC test dekat SGS Thomson. So dia torture saya lah. Sekarang saya boleh torture dia lah. Tapi dia banyak beri saya pengalaman lah. So at the Chesterfield, saya work as the service engineer. So we go around the UK because my factory did supply the CNC machines for plasma cutting. We did go to my supervisor bring me to Old Trafford, tapi saya tak nak masuk sebab saya tak suka Manchester. Saya kenapa tak bawa saya ke Anfield? Sebab that company is near the Old Trafford. Okay, so as a service engineer, so I'm be head departments, control instrumentation engineering for about 8 years, 10 months, 10 days I think. Then Deputy Dean Corporate RMC UTM, before Director RMC UTM, and now Deputy Vice Chancellor RNI UTHM. So during my directorship in RMC UTM, I also responsible for strategic planning for UTM to become an RU. Okay? That is special task given by ZU, by Datuk Seri Zaini to RMC to strategize. So if you want to know the sejarah UTM punya RU, we did apply 3 times. We have experienced 3 times the audit before we get the RU title. And so bila kali pertama tak dapat, so dia jumpa saya, dia appoint saya as untuk dapatkan. So after 2 kali kita dapat RU status. My career path, I'm tutor before in 1992. Okay, I go for my PhD as a tutor. PhD 29 years old, masa tu 29 tahun muda lah dapat PhD, tapi sekarang ni 23, 24 you dapat PhD. Head departments 8 tahun. Kalau you lihat kat sini, bila saya balik 96, okay, 96, 98 saya dah dilantik sebagai head department. So saya tak merasa lama jadi pensyarah biasa. That's why I told my VC before, after my contract dengan RMC tamat, I want to go back to faculty as pensyarah biasa. Dan ditanya kenapa? Sebab saya tak merasa jadi pensyarah biasa, ajar subjek 2 jam, makmah 2 jam, lepas tu balik tidur. That my notification kepada my VC dululah. Okay, mungkin tak jadi kat sini. Okay, so sampai saya tak berpeluang balik ke fakulti. Okay, then associate professor 33 tahun, professor 2006 dan BK6 2010 to 2016. Dan alhamdulillah this year I'm being awarded BK5 by UTM. Okay, some publication background, I have about 44 to 8 technical papers. Most of my paper is in journals rather than in conference. Okay, I have 17 books. Okay, 103 chapter in books, 26 research monograph. My H index is 20. Okay, so most of my publication in journal. Some of you say that if you publish in journal, orang tak kenal. Okay, but it's a difference. I can tell you one story. There is a conferences in US. Okay, the title of US is IEEE Censor Conferences. So I did submit my paper because it's a conferences. It's a established conference. So saya submit, saya bayar because my intention is to go to the conferences. But somehow when the time tiba, saya tak boleh pergi. Then I asked my student to go to that conference without telling the organizer that I'm not coming because saya dah bayar semua. Okay, so dia pergi, my student pergi. Then when there is dinner, okay, so there is one seat for for Dr. Abdul Rahim. So they announced where is Dr. Abdul Rahim. So nobody came over to sit. Then they announce the paper. So my student did come and say she will present their papers. So where is Dr. Abdul Rahim? He say. So Dr. Abdul Rahim is not coming. So dia sediakan kursi. Dia kata sebab we did read a lot of papers about Dr. Abdul Rahim. We want to see or to hear about Dr. Abdul Rahim. So if you just write on journal, also scholar acknowledge you. Okay, that's why most of my paper in journal rather in conferences. I did go to the conferences, but only in my field. Maybe once a year or two, maybe once a year lah. Okay, so most of my paper in journal. Another thing is, I like to see the comments from the reviewers. From the comments, I can build another research. Then if you can see after this, my research is continue from this one to this one to this one. Ada penyambungan. Okay, sebab apa? Why? Because all the penyambungan, all the continuity getting from the reviewers of the journals. Okay, I love to read the comments. Some of the comment is not right. Okay, some of the comment is good. Paling banyak komen seperti saya pernah beritahu is 15 pages, 52 items. 52 items, 15 page, masa tu manual, sensor and actuator physical A. Okay, so that's comment. Tapi saya jawab semua, that been published lah. Sebab saya suka tengok comments yang diberi. Dan saya suka tulis buku. Mungkin Allah kurniakan saya kebolehan untuk menulis. Okay, that's why kalau Puan Siti, Puan Su dia tahu pukul 1, pukul 2 dia tak kacau saya. Okay, for your information, ni saya tak cakap orang lain ni saya. For your information, saya dah 21 bulan di sini, saya tak pernah pergi makan tengah hari sebab tak ada orang nak bawa saya. Saya tak pernah keluar makan tengah hari kecuali 2 kali, itu RMC bawa saya lah. Tapi saya rasa penat bila saya keluar makan tengah hari. Baik saya duduk dalam bilik dengan sebiji apple saya boleh tulis paper. That's why Puan Su dengan Puan Siti dia tak kacau saya pukul 1 hingga pukul 2 lah. That saya tak buat appointment pukul 1, pukul 2 kecuali memang memang urgent lah. Okay, so saya duduk, mungkin saya dianugerahkan boleh menulis. That's why I have 17 books and a lot of international journal papers, book chapter, research monograph, and also my H-Net 20. These my books. Okay, some of my books. This is my first book, Pengukuran and Transducer. Dicetak 2 kali after sold out about 3 months. Then this second edition, Pengukuran dan Transducer. So ini PLC, ini pengukuran instrumentasi, ini kawalan proses. So ini similar to my research. Okay, this is my book chapter. So this process tomography instrumentation, this book chapter in UTM, when we strategize for RU, there are a lot of noise about Kita tak ada paper, kita tak ada journal papers. Okay, for your information, 2008 UTM ada lebih kurang 1,200 papers, but 164 sahaja daripada journals. Bermakna staff UTM memang pergi conference. Tapi tak apa, memang KPI masa tu conferences. So then we need to change. Okay, like Zaini, Dr. Sri Zaini say, selalu orang say makan bola, tidur bola. Dia kata makan paper, tidur paper, semua ingat paper saja. So we change. But my argument to the management is, we encourage people, we ask people to write a technical papers. So what we give, what the training that we give to our peoples. They all say, oh, we give the ceramah, bengkel and so on. But saya kata, you tak. Bengkel ceramah, dia pergi, dia keluar, dia hilang. Saya kata, what is the real training? So dia orang pula tanya saya, what do you want? Betul masa tu saya pedang strategi untuk RU. Dan saya diberi unlimited budget lah masa tu. Just ask from direct line to my VC, dan saya dapat money yang saya nak lah. Okay. Then I say, I want everybody to write a book chapter. That is the training ground. That is the planning. That is the training ground for everybody untuk train macam mana nak menulis. Okay, they say you want to book chapter, okay, we give you money. So we balik to Research Alliance, when we give money 5,000 for each research group, we produce book chapter. So like my case in my research group, all my research group is 51 or 52, tak ada experience. So we try, ajar dia untuk menulis dengan book chapter. That's why this book chapter dah ada 32 series, 32 series. Okay, cost dia only RM200 sahaja. Okay, that's the idea I bring here. Untuk melatih, sebab for my apa yang saya kata lah, atau apa yang mantan TNCPI UTM kata Prof. Azra'i, book chapter ni adalah selemah-lemah iman dalam publication. Okay, that's how we train people there. You write, nilai semua. Okay, we have 32 volumes, so now it has been stopped because I'm here. I cannot bring the ISSBN here, so here I try to write another chapter. So we have about 10 series now. Okay, sensor and instrumentation under penerbit UTHM. So if you see my books, that is another things. This written by Ruzairi Abdul Rahim. This is written by Ruzairi Abdul Rahim. This one written by 2 people. This one written by 4 people or 3 people. This one also 4. So after saya di sana, saya dapat lihat we need sharing, we need a teamwork. When I did this book is about 6 months, 6 bulan. Tapi kalau saya share dengan rakan-rakan saya, 3 bulan saja saya dah dapat produce satu buku, but with high disciplines. Everybody have to did 2 chapters. So you share and we work as a team. That's much more better. That another things that we need to develop here. We need to work as a team. We need to work together when we need to share. That's why selalu saya just sharing. You nak dengar, tak dengar tak apa. Just my experience. Okay, just sharing. That's why my book, lama-lama buku saya ni dah ramai orang yang involved. So lebih mudah untuk saya terbitkan. Saya just selaraskan sahaja. Okay, this is my research grant, my government, industry, consultancy. Okay, the awards and recognitions. Okay, that is from Scopus. Okay. Okay, so my H index is 20. My documents 310. So citation is 1593. Okay. So if you lihat kat sini daripada mula lah dia dah ada lah. Okay, sama ada dia naik atau turun. Okay, what is a process tomography? Dia ni baru masuk, dah half an hour baru dia masuk cerita sebenarnya. So tak habis sebenarnya lah. Tapi you ada slide dia. So tomography originated from the Greek word Strauss tomo, is a slice. Ni bukan tomo yang wrestling Thailand tu. Pro Hasri dia tak kata wrestling Thailand tu lah. It's a slice. Draft ni is a picture. So if you combine tomo and draft, is a slice of a picture. You have the hardware here. You want to see what happened inside here. You can use CCTV, you can use TV, but we use a sensor. This is the image. Okay, what is inside the slice of the picture. So it's the obtaining of plane section images which show slice through an object. So you nampak sama ada solid gas, solid liquid, liquid gas, solid liquid gas, three-phase system, or liquid gas oil. Solid gas means that, for example, the gas is the udara, air, and the solid might be gula pasir, for example. That is solid gas. Okay. Kalau solid liquid is air, water. Solid might be kacang hijau, for example lah. You masukkan dalam tu, atau beets. You just lalukan dalam tu. Then we have the three phase. Okay. This is my supervisor. Yang saya ambil, yang saya paksa dia. You dengar dulu nanti.
In the early 1970s, I concentrated on capacitance and electrodynamic sensors, mainly for pneumatically conveyed solids. By the early 1980s, we realized we had major measurement problems due to the types of flow regime. Therefore, I introduced process tomography to UMIST. In the early days, modelling was used to predict things like flow regime and velocity gradients, but bends in pipes and surface finishes created problems, which, without visualisation, were difficult to monitor, especially in non-transparent conveyors. Tomography, by imaging flows, enabled improvements in modelling and improved accuracy of measurement with different flow regimes.
Okay, this is my supervisor, Professor Emeritus Dr. R.G. Green from Sheffield Hallam University. So this video that I forced him untuk buat. So saya suruh grandchild dia, cucu dia ambil guna handphone. That's why tak clear di sini suara dia. Okay, so dia beritahu apa yang dia faham tentang proses tomografi. Buat umur dia 85 tahun lah sekarang ni.
Process tomography had a limited number of sensors, and often the process had moved on in fractions of a second. The limited number of views and the requirement to produce information in near real time provide one of the major challenges in tomography.
Dia baca daripada skrip yang dia buat lah sebenarnya.
When we started in the 1980s,
dan dia pesan kalau tunjuk video ni kena cakap satu benda. Tie yang dia pakai ni dia tak pernah pakai. The tie is given by dia punya student, Dr. Mariani from UTM. Okay, so masa dia buat ni dia pakai lah. Dia suruh beritahu yang tie ni daripada Dr. Mariani. Okay. So that is Bob Breen. Okay. So why is process tomography required? Is for measurement of flow in clean liquids and flow. There is a wide choice of instrumentation, but if you want to see the internal process or knowledge what is happening inside the pipe, so we need something else. So we need a new technology. That's why we bring the process tomography. The tomography first is developed in medical. You have the CT scan, okay, computer tomography, CT scan. Okay, that is the original of tomography, but that the principle is same. There is a sensor around the ring. Okay, then we bring the idea to process industries. The idea bring to process industry by Professor Beck daripada UMIS masa tu. Now is Manchester U. Professor Beck dah meninggal. So dia yang bawa idea tersebut bersama dengan my supervisor. And Professor Beck dah tak ada, now Professor Young. Professor Young ialah supervisor kepada FTK punya student yang baru balik, Dr. Siapa nama yang baru balik yang baru lapor diri daripada Manchester yang perempuan saya miss nama, Dr. Mimi. Dr. Mimi is one of the Professor Young punya students lah. Okay, why required is for internal process observations and for plant efficiency improvement. This is for why process tomography needed. Okay, this is overview. Tomography is an imaging technique that enables one to determine the criteria or content of an enclosed system without physically looking inside it. So you just put sensor around, kita boleh nampak what is inside the pipes. Okay, so this the pipe, you can see the picture. This is an image reconstruction, or we call it the tomograms. Okay, so this is the model. For example, we install the ultrasonic sensor around the pipes. Okay, so we make the signal conditioning circuit and the software that we can see the image. So installing a number of sensors around the pipe to be imaged to reveal information within the sensing zone. That's the idea of tomography. When we say sensor, that's become a lot of sensor can be applied. My PhD is on optical sensor. So now we apply for capacitor, ultrasonic, etc. Type of tomography sensor, we have hard field and soft field. Okay, this is the layout design. For example, is an optical. Okay, when we say about optical sensor, kalau mereka dalam bidang optical means that there is transmitter and receiver. Right, there's transmitter, light receiver. That's the idea. Okay, from light transmitter, receiver, and transmitter, you can get some informations. Okay, that's the idea of optical. Okay. The block diagram of the tomography systems, we have the industrial pipeline here. Then we have several sensors can be put around the pipes. We call it sensor array. We need a signal conditioning, amplification, filtering, and so on. Then we have the computer for image reconstructions. That is the general block diagram for process tomography. Okay, it's not complicated. That's why I keep saying that buat PhD lebih relax daripada belajar undergraduate lah. For me lah. Sebab tu saya di ban oleh UTM, jangan bagi talk kepada bakal-bakal yang nak buat PhD. Nanti dia relax macam saya, semua tak lulus dia kata. Okay, but last 2 weeks saya pergi ke Pago. Tapi saya mention perkara yang sama, jangan ikut saya cerita pengalaman saya. So that is process tomography. This is a medical tomography that I keep saying, the body scanning. So you have the CT system. So the sensor is around here. Then the people is masuk dalam ni lah. Then that we can see the tomogram. This is a typical human head tomogram. Okay. This X-ray scanning modes in 1971 performance. Okay, 160 parallel beams, 1 degree rotations, 30k beams in 5 minutes. So 5 minit baru dapat. Okay, that is a medical. Okay, what is different between medical and process tomography in industry? So the difference is the time scale. Okay. One is a time scale. Medical, you need about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But in process industry, we get it very fast. But the efficiency is not good as the in medical. Because in process industry, we need just the samples. But in medical, we need the actual, yang betul-betul. Okay, that is the difference lah. Generally, process tomography is less accurate and the images less refined than for medical methods. Jadi now we go for type of tomography sensor. There is some picture during my research times. Kadang-kadang saya fikir juga, saya miss lah, saya tak boleh masuk makmal. Kat sini saya tak ada makmal, dekat UTM saya ada makmal. The makmal is belong to me. Because when I come back in 1996, mungkin Prof. Hussein tahu, dia KJ masa tu. That process makmal kawalan proses tak ada orang guna. There's a room. Okay, so masa tu Datuk Murtaza Istimbalan Dekan, so he say to me, Rosari, you pakailah, dia kata, bilik tersebut, dia kata, nanti hantu duduk, dia kata. So saya pakai sampai sekarang lah. That's lab is belong to me lah. Okay, so saya jadi my focus group untuk guna. So bila you dah biasa dalam lab, bila kat sini tak ada lab, you miss something lah. Okay, but now I have one student, so at least saya ada space dekat main SRC. So some of my equipment is there. Okay, this is some of the sensor that we develop. Okay, we have optical, electrical resistance, microwave, ultrasonic, electrical, electric charge, and electrical capacitance. So I will talk some of the case study in this sharing. Okay, just to make some knowledge lah. Optical also been done by UTHM staff, Siti Zarina. Microwave has been done by Hafiz, FKEE, dia buat master, dia buat microwave sensor dengan saya project. Electrical capacitance done also by Dr. Helmi Johanna. Ultrasonic is ongoing, so did by Fazli. Fazli saya, FKE, UTHM juga. So it's ongoing. Okay. So first case study is OTS, optical tomography systems. So this is a general block diagram, still the same. We have the sensor system, but now the sensor system is optical. Sensor can be arranged in parallel and also fan beam. We have the signal conditioning and acquisition system. Okay, this signal conditioning and this is data acquisition system. During my time, we don't have the microcontroller. We are using the DAS, data acquisition system, from Kisli, but it's very expensive. It's about 20k ringgit Malaysia. But now we can convert it using the microcontroller. I'm using PIC. Now we can use also Arduino. Okay, much more cheaper, the system. So this is the idea. Sensor system, signal conditioning, image processing. If you change to capacitance, it's also the same. Just the sensor, you replace the sensor, but this block diagram is similar. Okay. So what is a parallel beam? This is a parallel beam. The number of emitter and receiver are same, light divergence is not allowed. So you just, this is the part, so you arrange parallel beam equally spaced ray. So transmitter, receiver is interlaced. Okay, so it's direct, okay, it's not divert, okay, it's a fully collimated light. Okay, so you have 16 by 16. This is a fan beam, equally array like this, okay, or like this, it's a fan beam. So the idea is very simple. You have transmitter, you have receiver. If you full light, kalau tak ada block, you tak block dia, you dapat 5 volt for example. When that particle cross the light, you get less volt, correct? You get for example 2.5, 2.8. So you lost about 1.3 or 2.5. So 1.3, 2.5, you compute dalam image reconstruction, you dapat image. That data you gunakan, yang tak dapat, that you dapat PhD. Senang kan tak dapat PhD? Okay, senang nak dapat PhD. Je idea dia transmitter, receiver, bila jatuh kalau full block you dapat kosong. Kalau jatuh sikit you dapat 1.5. Mungkin kat sini nanti you dapat 5.5 at 2.5, 1.3, 2.3, 0, bla bla bla. Then you compute je. Okay, sebab tu buat PhD mudah lah. So kalau ada yang buat PhD, saya buat PhD kan, tapi jangan ikut saya. Tapi saya nak cakap juga, saya akan cakap benda yang sama. Orang Padu dah tahu dah. When I did my PhD, rumah saya kalau tak Sheffield tu, dia tahu, kalau ada yang tahu Broom Hall. Okay, saya duduk Broom Hall dekat U. Every day saya walk to Sheffield Hallam. It's about 3 miles. So totally saya dah berjalan kaki daripada saya first degree ke PhD is 7,000 miles. Okay, saya dah berjalan lah. Memang every day saya jalan. Tapi across the town, so you can window shopping. Okay. So kalau sama-sama macam ni, you window shopping lagi lama lah. Okay. Okay. Okay, my supervisor akan datang daripada Bradford. Professor Green duduk kat Bradford, dia akan sampai Sheffield Hallam pukul 7. Dan saya akan walk from rumah 6:30 because saya nak jumpa dia pagi. Okay. Dia akan balik pukul 1 sebab dia kata kalau dia balik petang nanti jam. Dia balik pukul 1. Pukul 1 pun saya balik sebab 1:20 tu ada home and away. Kalau siapa duduk Sheffield, duduk UK, masa tu ada soap, ada drama home and away. Okay, so drama tu pukul 1:20. Yang tu memang saya lihat daripada saya undergraduate. Sekarang ni home and away pun ada kat Australia, saya tengok dalam channel Australia lah. Okay, so saya nak lihat home and away. So saya balik pukul 1. Saya tak pergi dah. Sebab saya tahu supervisor saya tak ada. Tapi dia bagi task. Cara dia bagi saya hari Isnin, nanti hari Rabu dia nak lihat. Dia bagi saya Rabu, hari Isnin dia nak lihat. That the rotation. Okay, very disciplined. Okay. Kalau tak datang, just beritahu tak datang. Kalau my wife bersalin 2 kali, dia just beritahu, kata my wife bersalin, saya tak pergi, okay, tak apa. Tapi dia ada KPI dia. You pergi hari ni, dia nak lihat. Hari ni dia nak lihat. Dia kita just follow dia punya tu. After 3 months, you boleh jalan sendirilah. Okay. Baba is keep monitor. That's why what I did to my students, that I told everybody, the fundamental or the literature review is very important. That's why my KPI for my student is 1,000 paper for 3 months. You kena baca 1,000 paper kalau nak buat PhD dengan saya. Okay, after 3 months, you boleh buat review paper. You tanya Siti Zarina bagaimana dia baca 800 lebih paper in 3 months dan lepas tu dia boleh buat review papers. So everybody buat macam tu. So you can have a paper, review paper easily to be included in journals. Okay, so just baca saja orang lain punya. Okay, so this is 92-96. This is my PhD work. Okay, yang saya ambil di Sheffield. Saya tak dibenarkan bawa balik sistem ni. After me, Dr. Hafizah is using this system. So saya tak boleh bawa balik sistem ni. Tapi saya redevelop nanti. Okay, 92-96 optical. So this is a transmitter. Optical, so cahaya tu dalam ni. The white light is inside the box. Fully collimated. Diameter is about 82. It's a 4-inch, 82 millimeter. 4-inch pipes. Okay, so after saya balik kat sini 1996, after I get some, I have a paper then been commented by reviewer. So we redevelop the system. So saya redevelop. If this one is a parallel beam and this one is a fan beam, okay, we try different configuration and different signal conditioning. We didn't use the Kisly, we used the microcontroller to reduce the cross of the systems. Then dia ada continuity from your PhD dan balik sini apa you buat. Okay, macam mana dapat continuity, macam mana dapat idea. That is from the comment from the professor lah daripada jurnal-jurnal yang saya hantar. Okay, this is one of the project real-time image reconstruction for fan beam optical tomography system. Kalau dulu I did my PhD for parallel beam, now I try for parallel beam. So ada sebab lah sebenarnya. Fan beam is much more easier to develop rather than compared to parallel beam. Then you also can use the LED. Then the arrangement is interlaced. Okay, transmitter, receiver. You can see transmitter, receiver tak nampak ni, transmitter, receiver. So dia partner. Transmitter satu will partner with receiver number 1. Okay, and so on lah. Okay, so this is the system. So this is the image reconstruction you can see here. Okay. So this system won bronze 2002. This is my first research exhibitions. Okay, during my time research exhibition dipandang tinggi lah masa tu. So bila saya dengar masa tu Prof Fauzi menang Gold Geneva for example, so saya kata bila saya nak menang Gold Geneva, then I go for it. Okay, that's so on lah. So you ada target sebenarnya. Okay, we need a target. Okay, then we try because we know that the TISLI or data access system is the expensive part in my system. So we try to build a system tak guna TISLI. Okay, that is continuity. We did by using the DSP system, Digital Signal Processing. Okay, we use DSP. Masa ni tak ada lagi microcontroller. Okay, that my student did on DSP. So you boleh compare lah apa yang dia buat. Okay. Then we try to use for mixed projection here, different projections. Okay. Then this one for gas, liquid and bubble, we measure the bubbles. Okay. Now we use the microcontroller. So TISLI is very expensive, the data access system. Then we use the digital signal processing, DSP. Now we use the microcontroller, but we measure the bubbles. Bubble inside the liquid. Okay. So after that, we try to use CCD, charge coupled devices. Okay. This one did by Dr. Juliza from USIM. Okay. Now dia di USIM. Dan saya just nak cerita Dr. Juliza untuk yang you boleh ambil contoh lah. After Dr. Juliza graduated for PhD, USIM kata dia hanya boleh appoint Dr. Juliza in 1 year. Then I told Dr. Kamarul Zaman, Dr. K, my friend in USIM, kalau USIM tak nak, saya nak. Sebab saya nak ambil Dr. Juliza for FKE lah, UTM. Tapi dia tak nak, dia tak apalah. Then after that, Dr. Juliza came to me, dia kata, Prof, ada dana tak untuk dia buat jadi research officer, dia kata. Sebab dia tak ada kerja dah, dia tak dapat gaji dah daripada USIM. Sebab USIM punya proses 1 year. So I said to Dr. Juliza, okay, you can do, can work as research officer with me, but with KPI. I only can give you 1,000 for 12 months, but your KPI is every month 1 Q1. Every month 1 Q1 paper sent to the journal. That is your KPI. Dan dia sanggup. Okay. So dia hanya sempat buat dengan saya 8 bulan sahaja. He sent 12 Q1, 8 been published. Kenapa saya buat that KPI? Because saya tahu thesis dia 400 muka. Because dia banyak result using CCD. Dan saya boleh perah thesis dia lah. So, mana if you have a student, you have a thesis, so the student can ambil that data. Okay, sebab dia tak ada kerja apa, so every month 1 Q1. So, ada yang kadang 2 Q1 dia hantar. The 8 being published in 9 months, 9 months or 10 months, macam tu. Okay, so that is good lah for her lah. Okay, dan another things, if you did my PhD with me, 3 tahun plus 1, that paper belong to me. 3 tahun you buat PhD plus 1 year after you graduated, that paper belong to me. I'm the corresponding author. Dan my student only can submit paper using my account. Student tak boleh buat account sendiri. So all the email, all the reviewer come to me. Dan kalau saya lihat macam ni, dan saya akan distance student. Ada banyak advantage macam tu. If the paper is with me, okay, my account, the editor know. Every time dia akan nampak, oh Ruzairi atau Mr. Abdul Rahim submit a paper. Okay, he know me better than kejap. Contoh, Rosli submit, Razif submit, online submit, bersepa-sepa paper tersebut. So during PhD is with me. After that dia boleh buat account sendiri. Okay, so bermakna I can establish myself with the journals, and dia ada advantage. Mungkin you tak percaya, tapi that's happen. Mungkin ada yang tahu jurnal Censor MDPI, Switzerland. You want to publish now is about 2,000 Swiss francs, so 1,800 Swiss francs, about 8,000 ringgit Malaysia. It's a Q1. Masa time saya dulu is about 1,000 Swiss francs or less. So one of my friends, okay, he meet me, then he told me that dia nak naik pangkat, dia tak cukup papers. Dia kata jurnal mana yang paling cepat boleh publish. MDPI Censor is very fast, 4 weeks. But dia akan evaluate thoroughly. Saya pernah hantar 4 or 5, 2 kali saja diterbitkan. Lain semua kena reject. Okay, dia tadi nak hantar, but I told him it's about, masa tu it's about 6,000 ringgit Malaysia. So I say RMC will not finance that fees. Tak apa, dia bayar sendiri. Dia hantar. Saya kata, you buat account, you hantar. Saya ajarlah dia buat account. Dia hantar je, within 3 hours being rejected. It's been paid tau. RM6,000 masa tu. 3 hours being rejected. So dia datang tak saya pula besok cakap, Prof, dah kena reject. Saya tengok dia. Saya kata, boleh tak buat macam ni? Paper ni you bagi pada saya akan tukar corresponding author kepada saya, dan saya akan tukar abstract, introduction and so on. Saya kata, body saya tak tukar, saya kata, but introduction, abstract, tajuk saya tukar. Dan corresponding author change to me. Okay, boleh tak apa, dia kata. So saya hantar, saya change title, abstract and some of introduction. Sebab saya juga editor jurnal. Biasa saya baca tajuk, abstract, intro je, tengok tak sama, okey lah. Lepas tu orang lain akan baca. Okay. Dan saya hantar using my account. Because I been established with Censor MDPI. Because selain daripada 4 papers yang saya send, saya juga regular reviewer. Okay, that's why kalau you dilantik reviewer, you review lah paper orang lain. Late ni lah banyak saya reject. Sebab saya dah tak ada kerja apa-apa kan, saya reject je. Okay. Saya hantar using my accounts. Dia tak reject. In fact, dia hantar, we acknowledge your papers, now it's being evaluated, and we remind you if being accepted, you have to pay 1,000 Swiss francs. Mana dia masuk dalam sistem. Same paper, different tajuk, different orang, different sikit-sikit abstract dan intro. Sebab dia kenal saya. After 2 weeks, they return to me, being accepted with corrections. So saya terpaksa correctkan. Bukan sikit-sikit pula, banyak. Dan saya panggil saya punya kawan, sit together, cuba baiki. Sebab dia bagi seminggu je untuk baiki. Dan kita baiki, saya send balik. After 1 week, being accepted. So 4 weeks lah, 4 weeks being accepted. But, you have to pay. Dan saya tanya kawan saya, you nak bayar ke? Sebab paper ni corresponding author adalah saya. Because it's using my account. Tak apa, dia nak bayar juga. Okay, you bayar. So dia bayar. So bila dia bayar, so saya kesian lah tengok kawan saya. So I contacted the editor. So I contacted the editor dan saya bagi beberapa option pada editor. Saya kata, can you change the corresponding author to blah 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 because dia yang banyak contribute, saya kata. Once. Or can be this paper have 2 corresponding author, me and blah blah blah. After 3 days, they reply, okay, we accept your option number 2. So this paper have 2 corresponding author. Okay? Kalau you tak percaya, try buat. That's why kalau you ada student PhD, guna account you. You ada 10 account PhD student, you dapat 10 paper per year under nama you. Kalau tidak, ada 10 paper yang disubmit oleh orang-orang lain. The editor akan kenal kita. Itu yang saya buat lah. So saya hanya akan review sekarang sensor actuator, IEEE sensor, flow measurement, yang mana jurnal memang saya punya crawl lah. Yang jurnal-jurnal lain biasa saya tak akan tu. Dan I'm training my student to review also. So kalau saya dapat paper, saya akan beri student saya to review. Saya akan review, saya siapkan report, saya suruh dewan review, saya nak tengok bandingkan report saya dengan report mereka. Sama tak? Lama-lama akan sama. Sebab dewan akan ada experience review paper orang. Critical thinking is there. That you develop. Okay? Sharing and you develop. And work as a team lah macam saya cakap tadi. 5 minit lagi Tak habis Okay, this is ECT, electrical capacitance tomography, ECT. Oh, ni nama Helmi ada sini Okay. ECT. ECT, the idea is you know the capacitor. The capacitor work macam mana? Mesti ada 2 plates. Betul? Capacitor work mesti ada 2 plate. Dia tak boleh ada 3 plate. Ada ke capacitor 3 plate? Saya tak sure lah. Yang saya tahu 2 plate sahaja. Okay. So my system ECT work like that. It's 2 plates. Okay. So ni is my hardware. Dia seperti measure the blood pressure. So the idea came from MPOB. So this is the sensor. Okay. This is the original ECT before we redevelop the ECT sensor. Okay. Okay. We have 8 plates. Capacitance mesti work dengan 2 sahaja. So what I did is energize number 1 and number 2. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8. You dapat satu measurement. Dan lepas tu you rotating 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8. You know, another measurement. Then 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 3, 7, 3, 8. You have another. Then your rotations. The principle is sama, 2 plate sahaja. Okay, that's the idea of capacitor sensor. Senang kan you nak dapat PhD. So, okay, so that is sensor electronics and so the control signal. Okay, this equation is fundamental of capacitance. C equal to K epsilon A over D, area over diameter. Okay, jarak saya dah lupa. Okay, this is a mobile sensor design, non-destructive, non-invasive, non-intrusive, assembly on part line easily. Dia boleh buka. Biasa saya bawa saya punya sistem ni, saya lupa nak bawa. Okay, so you boleh buka lah. So you can see this is 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates. This is a 16 plate around, like this, 16 plates. Okay, so hardware topology, you have the sensor here, central control unit, microcontroller. We use the PIC and the real-time image reconstructions. This is what is the difference between Professor Young. Professor Young, UMIS also did ECT, okay, capacitance. Then he read my paper. Then dia selalu communicate dengan saya. Dia tanya macam mana saya buat macam ni, dia buat macam lain, for example. Okay, so this is the difference between UMIS, dulu UMIS lah, saya Manchester U, dengan saya punya. So we have the electronics on top and the sensor bawah ni. So we using the PGA, analog switch, ACN amplifier, low pass filter. This the otak dia is microcontroller. We have the ADC here. Okay, so this is the excitation macam saya beritahu tadi. So this is the system. Okay, so you can see lah bila dia work dia akan menyala. Okay, macam tadi gambar. That is electrical capacitor sensor. Okay, so this one when we first develop is for 2-phase system. Okay, then we develop for 3-phase system. Can measure udara, air, oil and water level. Okay, so you can see here, this the thermographs. You can quantify water 9.57%, palm oil how many percent, the gas how many percent. Okay, so this roughly we get the thermograms. But this one is on lab scale. I've been sold this system to 3 industries for testing lah, purposely for testing. About 30,000 ringgit Malaysia, the system. Okay, the system is same like what Petronas pernah beli daripada one of the company di US lah. It's about 1.2 million the system. Okay, so this is a ECT for 2 and 3 phase. Like I told you, at the beginning 2 phase, then at the end we go for 3 phase. LED optical dulu tak guna microcontroller, akhir guna microcontroller. So continuity tu ada. Then this one ECT then we develop ECT for velocity profiling. Okay, when velocity profiling, we use the cross correlation. When we need the cross correlation, we need the upstream and downstream sensor. So we use two, one sensor here, then one sensor here. Then we have the velocity profiling of the systems. Okay, that is ECT. Then optical and ECT. Optical cannot penetrate steel. That the kelemahan utama. That the comment yang saya dapat dari banyak jurnal, banyak referee. Okay, ECT pun ada problem untuk steel. That's why kita buat acrylic pipe. Kalau you nampak sistem saya acrylic pipe. So now we have to move. Saya beritahu my student we have to move. Because all the referees say we need the system that can penetrate steel. Okay, then the next continuity is using the MIT, magnetic induction tomography. Okay, MIT, doing by Dr. Zulkarnain from UNIMAP, my students. Okay, Dr. Zulkarnain. So we use two magnet, primary magnet and secondary magnet. Primary magnet, there's a magnetic field, then they re-energize the secondary magnet then there is an induced current, there's an object, then there is an output. Okay, that is the roughly idea of MIT. Okay, so the model is continuity from cannot penetrate steel, we need something to penetrate steel, we're using the MIT. The MIT for this project is for concrete. You have the concrete, inside the concrete there is steel. We want to see if the steel patah ataupun tidak. Okay. So this is the objective. Okay. There is the video in the water mediums. Okay. So you can see this is the magnetic induction sensor. Okay. So you can see the image. Okay. This is the preliminary, you see the image. Janganlah tengok tangan ni berminyak. Yang hitam je tu. Okay, so yang ni nampak it's online. It's online. So dia berpusing, you nampak. This fundamental. Saya nak tahu sama ada that system can measure the concrete tak. Tak tengok dalam lagi. So roughly can measure the concrete. So if there is there is two picture here. Okay, it's an online system. The disadvantage is very slow lah. Right now it's very slow. But you have the gambar. Okay. So kalau 3D imaging, okay. So kalau ni concrete dimasukkan dalam ni, you nampak? Ada sistem tu nampak ataupun tidak? Sudah nampak sistem ni boleh nampak yang masuk tu lah sebenarnya. Nanti diputuskan konkret dalam ni dan gambar ni pun nampak dia terputus. Masih lagi lab prototype so masih lagi banyak benda kena lihat lah. Okay, so dia nampak dalam tu. Kalau 3D, tadi 2D and 3D dia nampak yang apa yang ada dalam konkret tersebut. Kalau nak kena stop, urus dia beritahu Tidak, saya tak stop lah. Ada banyak dia ni silap saya. Dia gambar nanti nampak dia pecahkan kalau tak silap saya. Okay, so it's a 3D picture. Ada satu lagi lepas ni. Dah habis, okay. Okay, this is the sensor array. So you see the Trial is here. Okay, transmitter and receive trial number 1 and trial number 2, primary and secondary trial. Okay, using the magnetic field. So we develop the trial by ourselves. Okay, bukan kita beli. Sebab tu kita kena lilitkan dengan sempurna. Okay, the trial sensor designs. So excitation trial about N about 90, receiving trial and dia about 200. Macam transformer. Kan the principle is same. Okay. So di gambar yang kita dapat tadi lah. Okay. Then we work on the ERT also, electrical resistant tomography. This one did by Dr. Yasmin from Universiti Malaysia Pahang. So this project is GOT lah. Okay, this is ERT, electrical resistance. These are 16 electrodes, flexible printed circuit board inside. Okay. Okay, so saya just tunjuk sekali lalu lah.
There are few types of tomography, for example in medical application, which is a famous
Tak
one.
berapa clear lah.
I'm using X-ray, but for my case, I'm using the electrical resistant tomography. This is the sensor that I have developed.
So
What
dia
I did was, this sensor for my case, 16 channel, placing independently.
ada 16 channel dia place inside the pipes.
Basically, this sensor will sense what happening inside the pipe. So, the signal that has been detected by the each channel will go to this measurement circuit, and that measurement data we will use in the software pipe. So, what we use in software pipe is by analyzing and produce some image. So, this is the example of image, and that image is representing what happening inside the pipe. By the end of this,
Okay, mungkin kalau you nak lihat, you boleh just type Yasmin dalam YouTube ada. Sebab all my student have to ambil video dia punya products. Okay, we need to have a video produk-produk yang dia buat, sama ada dengan handphone ke atau proper. Then you have also to prepare that lah. Because nanti pemantauan pun akan dibuat secara video oleh KPM, oleh JPT nanti. Okay. So we go for ultrasonic. So ultrasonic tomography, everybody know ultrasonic. Okay, semua orang lihat dalam dekat kereta semua ada ultrasonic sensor for reverse sensing dan seterusnya. So we use the same principle. Ultrasonic, this one did by Dr. Hafiz Unimap. Okay. So we measure the liquid gas. Okay. So you can see here is about 16 channel. Okay. We're using acrylic. Okay, this is the video of Hafiz system, real-time multi-phase flow imaging systems. So it can measure the bubbles. Okay. So this is the real times. So this is the columns. You also can measure the 3 images. 3D image. (3D) image ni dapat at the end of dia punya PhD lah sebenarnya. The aim is for 2D only, but luckily at the end tu dia dapat 3D. Okay, so this is a 2D. Okay. So you boleh buat, tengok lihat sistem yang dia buat. We only buy the sensor only. All the signal conditioning, all the PCB, mounting the PCB did by the students. Okay, so you can see the PCB is here. Dia berbalik-balik. Okay, saya tak payah go through semua lah. Okay, that is bubble. Then we move to water oil. Okay, this is done by Ng Wei Yap. Okay, using the water and oil, we can ultrasonic sensor. We can measure the skin between the water and the oil here. Okay. Then after that, we try ultrasonic in the steel columns. Okay, we use the steel column did by Dr. Gro Chui Lun. Okay, so there's a video here. You can see the steel columns. we're using the iPad here. It's wireless. So you can see, it can measure. Okay, it can measure what is happening. It's a solid gas applications. That is the continuity from ultrasonic. Okay, so we're using the wireless protocol and the steel. But the problem is the steel nipis lah. Okay, kalau tebal mungkin ada problem. So we need to buat lagi research lah. So kalau ada kat sini yang nak sambung, dia boleh sambung lah. Okay, it's a wireless. You can use iPad or you also can use the image retrospective, the notebook. Okay. Then we go for dual modalities. Okay. Before it's only one sensor, then we use two sensors here, ECT and ultrasonic gabungkan. That is the genuine of this project lah. You can see this capacitance sensor, and tengah-tengah ni in the middle we make a hole and we put the ultrasonic sensor. Okay, it's a 333 kilohertz ultrasonic sensor. So the one did by Dr. J. So you can see here, okay, ultrasonic and capacitance is combined together. Okay, this is the strip. So we have two circuit, one for ultrasonic and one for ECT. We combine it and we cross correlation. When we also make the image diffusion to get the image reconstructions. Okay, that is the image reconstruction we get, much more better. Okay. Then we combined with nuclear amnesia with the gamma ray sensor. Okay, this one with Dr. Razif and the team. We use the gamma ray tomography for measure the corrosion ataupun perkaratan di dalam pipe. Okay, so we use the gamma ray. Gamma ray is very powerful because it can must penetrate inside the pipeline. Okay, this is knowledge transfer. Okay, maybe belonging to the end. Some of my students, okay, we have Dr. Juliza, Dr. J, Dr. Yasmin, Dr. Siti Zarina, Cham Kok Tiam, Chan Kok San. If anybody with iStone technology, so iStone technology belong to Chan Kok San, my students. 4 of the director did master with me lah sebenarnya. Okay. So he know better the tomography. From you, it's not UniKL, it's Yvette. Okay, Yvette, then Razif, Helmi, Hafiz, Zul. Sini gambar masa semualah. Okay. Cuma saya nak highlight satu. Okay. At the end ni ada 3-minute video di mana my student menang world di Tasmania. Okay. Cuma saya nak cerita that students. Okay. That students, undergraduate is with me. Dia buat projek dengan saya. Tak perform pun. In fact, dia punya CPA dia untuk graduate 2.7 je. It's not perform. Okay. Kalau you ambil tak buat PhD dengan you all. Tak nak lah 2.7. Buat apa baik saya ambil 3.5. Average my PhD student is 3.3, 2.8 to 3.3 macam tu lah. Okay. Saya pernah ambil 3.8, 3.9. After 3 months saya buang dia. Sebab dia tak boleh buat kerja. Knowledge dia pandai lah, tapi hands on dia tak tahu. Okay. So these students, PSM about 2.7. Dan lepas tu dia hilang sebab dia involved dengan juara taekwondo jugalah. Okay. Mungkin ada orang dah tahu dia. Dan lepas tu saya dapat e-science. E-science tahun, saya tak ingat, tahun 1999 ke 2003 ke. I get e-science, saya dapat 3 e-science serentak masa tu. Masa tu mula-mula mesti buat e-science. So saya rasa apa saya nak suruh student buat. Dan saya teringatkan student tu lah. Dan saya call, saya nak register dia as a master student tak boleh sebab 2.7. So dekat UTM 2.7, you can work as RO for 1 year. So dia work as RO, after that dia register master student, then dia mula develop dia punya career. Okay, sebab bila kita guide dia mula nampak lah. Okay. Then after dia finish master, dia buat PhD. Dan dia graduate PhD, dan sekarang dia jadi staff UTM, dan dia menang juara 3-minute thesis, dan dia ada juga juara Malaysia untuk mana Dr. Abu, apa Dr. Abu, wall apa? Firewall okay, yang dekat Bidung Kedah tu, dia juga juara pada Germany. So saya nak tunjukkan student yang rendah tak semestinya tak boleh berjaya. You need to develop the student. Kalau you ambil student yang dah betul-betul bagus, you cuci tangan lah. Kan? Ramai yang tak nak ambil student Malaysia sebab dia kata student Malaysia tak pandai mathematics. Saya nak ambil student luar. Kalau you cuci tangan, you bukanlah penyelidik kan. You bukanlah cikgu atau you bukan pensyarah pada saya lah. So saya nak show the student. The student memang mula-mula tak bagus. Masa saya cakap dia tak bagus tu, dia hadir syarahan perdana saya kat UTM. Okay. So cakap dia memang tak bagus mula-mula. Akhirnya dia bagus. Okay, Razif dah tahulah siapa. Okay. So saya show apa yang dia cakap di Tasmania, di mana dia menang one of the hadiah utama 3-minute thesis lah. Okay.
I remember a couple of years back, I used to suffer from severe headache. And my doctor told me to go for MRI scan. You know, this huge machine with a tunnel in the middle of it. So what they did is that they put me inside this tunnel and they left me there alone in the room. After a while, the doctor came in back with his hands with some reports and some slice images of my head. And then he started to explain to me about what's happening to my head. Without even touching my head. Without slicing my brain, thank God. But yet, he get to explain to me in detail about what's happening inside my head. I was like, wow, what kind of magic is that? What kind of technology is that? Can I use this technology to solve other problems? By the way, this technology is called tomography. Now we have a similar problem here in the engineering line, such as oil and gas, palm oil industries, and other related fields, whereby you will have a pipeline, maybe up to a couple of miles in length. And inside this pipe, you will have a mixture of oil, water, and gas flowing at certain speed. Now, currently, engineers are using flow meter to monitor this process. But when problem happens, such as leakage, blockage, engineers will get headache. Because they have to slice the pipe to find out what is happening inside. Now, to do so, obviously, you need to stop the production. Whoa, wait a minute. Did you just say stop the production? That's the worst nightmare in industry, because every second you are losing money, and we are talking about a lot of money. What if I can end this nightmare? Over the past 2.5 years of my research, what I did is that I innovated the idea of tomography from the medical line into the engineering line by developing this mini MRI system. Not to scan human, but to scan liquid and gas composition inside a pipe without having the need to slice it. The secret behind this research is an open secret actually, is to use ultrasound to detect oil, water and gas and to interpret this information as images, because people say a picture shows 1,000 words. Let these image results provide you the thousands information you need to know about your pipe. To make things easier for the non-experts to benefit from my research, I designed this system to be portable and simple, so that even the layman will learn how to use it in just 3 minutes. Last but not least, if you have a headache in the future, and you need to go for MRI scan, hopefully you get a new idea for your second PhD. I'm Jay Suman from UTM, from Malaysia. Thank you for listening.
Okay, that is Dr. Jay Suman daripada FBME UTM.
So Jay Suman, 5 years' time, where is your program? Where is your...
5 years' time, huh? Hopefully I graduate first. Well, I intend to further my postdoc actually, and yeah, I switched this technology from the medical line to the engineering line. Maybe perhaps I will switch it back to the medical line, but not for MRI, but maybe to measure blood flow maybe, to make it more smaller size, smaller scale, to fit in. Maybe you can.
Okay, so that the end of my presentation. Okay, so saya tahu mungkin ada soalan ke? Boleh soalan Okay, kita buka kalau ada 1-2 soalan ke nak tanya. Okay, sila. Yang saya boleh jawab, saya jawablah. Tak boleh seseorang lain jawab. Tak ada. Okay, Prof Hussein, seperti biasa. Sila Prof.
I just want to ask you, can we apply this technique to detection of fire in petroleum industry? Sometimes the petrol, minyak tu tangkap api, pasal kilat lah, ini masa kilat lah. Macam mana kita nak buat ni cara tu?
Okey. Bila Prof Hussein dia mesti cakap kilat lah seperti biasa. Okey. The system is temperature sensitive. This is temperature sensitive, so dia ada range temperature yang dia boleh operate. So kita tak pernah lagi buat range yang lebih daripada macam terlalu panas, kita belum buat lah. So bila soalan sama ada boleh ke tak boleh, I'm not sure, kita belum cuba. Tapi at this moment memang dia ada temperature punya sekatan lah, barrier temperature. So mungkin next project kita boleh lihat lah sama ada. Sebab kalau spark dekat petroleum, this temperature is very high. Then we need to see what type of sensor yang boleh guna lah. Itu saya boleh jawab, Prof. Okay, ada lagi satu soalan? Ya, sila tadi.
As we know, for gamma radiation, so it will be affecting to the human body. So from your research, when dealing with the gamma radiation, so is there any special shielding or what kind of special precaution to prevent the effect to human tissue?
Okay, when we using the gamma ray from nuclear missile, actually we borrow from Razif punya gamma ray. It's a very low power, low radiation, and we didn't apply to the body of the human beings. We just apply on the pipe, on the torsion, to measure the torsion of the pipes. Okay, not on the body. So far, very low power, and we get the answer. We get the image that we want. Others? Techniques. Okay. What the difference between tomography and other techniques? One is tomography is when we set up the tomography. One is a very we thought is a very less expensive system, and the sensor is outside the pipe. We didn't kacau atau we didn't obstruct any flow inside the pipe. It's outside the pipe. Then the image is because we want to have the image. For example, if you in the petroleum industry, for example, if there is a pipe here, so you have the system once here and once here is downstream. So here you have the full flow, and here you have the half flow. Something is going on between here. Might be there's a blockage or not. That with a very simple tomography, so we can show or we can say that there's a blockage. We can shut down the pipeline as soon as possible. Okay. Thank you very much. Kalau you ada apa-apa soalan terbulan, you boleh tanya saya atau boleh WhatsApp saya lah, tak ada masalah. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan ucapan terima kasih kepada yang berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ruzairi bin Abdul Rahim di atas perkongsian pengalaman yang berbahagia Prof sebentar tadi. Dan sebagai tanda terima kasih daripada pihak penganjur, majlis ingin menjemput Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik dan Antarabangsa untuk menyampaikan sijil penghargaan kepada Pemiratul Syarahan Perdana kali ini, iaitu Yang Berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ruzairi bin Abdul Rahim. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan. Terima kasih sekali lagi diucapkan. Majlis dengan ini merakamkan ucapan ribuan terima kasih kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ismail bin Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik dan Antarabangsa, Pegawai-pegawai kanan Universiti, Div-Div jemputan, ahli akademia dan sekalian hadirin yang telah bersama-sama menjayakan syarahan perdana siri kedua 2018 ini. Sebagai penutup tirai majlis, saya akhiri dengan serangkap pantun. Merdu bertingkah alunan suara, kadang tak sedar tersilap kata. Andai terlanjur patah bicara, serendah hati kemaafan dipinta. Dengan itu, berakhirlah sudah majlis syarahan perdana untuk kali ini. Semoga bertemu lagi di lain kesempatan. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.